If you're wanting to make extra money, a great option for you may be to start a side hustle by running Facebook ads. In today's video, I'm sitting down for an interview with Mike Yanda and Bobby Hoyt, the creators of the Facebook Side Hustle course, and we're talking all about how you can make money with a Facebook side hustle business. Hey guys, I'm Marissa with Dollar Sprout. We make videos to help you earn, manage, and save money. So if you want to learn more about all things money, definitely subscribe to our channel so you won't miss a new video. In today's video, I'm sitting down with Mike Yanda and Bobby Hoyt, who've created the Facebook Side Hustle course. This course walks you through how to start your own side hustle running Facebook ads for other businesses. And in today's interview, we're sitting down to learn more about what it means to run Facebook ads, how much you can make, and how you can get started. We're also going to hear from Mike and Bobby themselves as they share their story and experience with running Facebook ads. So if you want to get started with a Facebook side hustle, definitely check out their course. We will have a link to it in the description box down below so you can check it out. They also have a YouTube channel, so I will leave links to their channel and playlists of videos that they'll mention in the description box down below. So check out this interview. Well, hey, Bobby and Mike, thanks so much for joining us today. We are super excited to talk to you guys more about Facebook side hustle.
Yeah, thanks
for having us.
Yeah. So
same time.
Creepy. It's like we work together. It's weird.
So first off, I would just love to hear a little bit more about yourselves. If you could talk about who you are and what you do, each of you, and also how did you guys meet?
Who's going first?
I'll go first. Yeah. Well, I'll start with the how we met part first. We actually met in high school. Mike and I went to the same high school. We were in band together, but I wouldn't say we were like really like friends.
So yeah, Bobby was the band nerd and I was the kid that was in band that just like ticked off the band directors because I was always fooling around and not taking it seriously. But
yeah. So I mean, we've known each other for a while, but we really didn't get to know each other and start working together. It like all kind of happened at the same time in around 2018, actually in 2017, going into 2018. But really, I mean, I'll just start with my story. I've been running millennialmoneyman.com since 2015. So I've been a professional blogger for, I guess, 5 years now, which is kind of crazy. But before that, I was a high school band director, and I paid off student loan debt, and I wanted to start writing about it. And so I started Millennial Money Man. And when I started Millennial Money Man, I actually quit my teaching job to do the blog full time, but it was before the blog actually made any money. So it was kind of like this really, I always tell people it was this really dumb thing that I did. I just quit my job. But I kind of, after I realized that blogs don't make money like super, super quickly, I figured out that I had to do something else. And the jeweler that did my wife's engagement ring, he actually reached out to me. He liked the website and he wanted to see if I could help him with his website, his marketing. And so I was super desperate for money back then. And I had zero experience doing real like digital marketing, but I did it because I wanted to put, food on the table and everything. So I jumped in on that. And then that eventually evolved. It was, first it was just website stuff and some email marketing and blogging. And then it turned and they asked me if I could do Facebook ads. And so I had to learn, at that time, that was like the only revenue source that I had was this jeweler. And so I was like, well, if they want me to do that, I've got to learn it. And so I really started digging into Facebook ads and running a lot of ads and making a lot of mistakes and doing a lot of things wrong. And over time got better at it. And then just kept going with that and started getting more clients. So that was kind of my story with it. And then eventually I met Mike, who was doing his own thing with Facebook ads. Try to transition there for you.
Oh yeah. Nice handoff. Yeah, I actually started, I'm supposed to be an attorney. I actually went to law school and I started my first online business in law school, which was an online fitness business. And so I had my second year, I'd lost a ton of weight and like got a 6-pack and I was like, well, how are you doing this? And I started helping, other law students and then attorneys and all, it just kind of grew into this thing. And I saw an opportunity I saw this website and was doing online coaching. I was like, I can do that. Like that's easy money. And I've got 6 figures in student debt to get rid of. So I naively just like started this business. But in law school, I was a newlywed and I was in law school. And so it's like, I barely have time to hang out with my wife, let alone, study for classes and build a business and all this. So I was looking for a way to grow my business. And I knew like, I don't have time to blog. I don't have time for social media. I didn't have time for that. So I just started running Facebook ads to grow my list and to sell people my programs over the phone. And I was selling $300 a month, $600 a month programs to people. And so I just very quickly got good at running ads, selling over the phone, those kind of things. But what happened is all these people that were in the industry are like, this guy is not one of us. He doesn't go to the Fit Pro conferences. He's not like all over social media. He's not part of the group. And he's crushing it. Like, what on earth? Where are all these clients coming from? How does he have this list? And so I started helping people like with that. And then the first time somebody asked me like, hey, would you do this for me? I was like, sure. Like, well, how much do you charge? I was like, $1,000 a month. I mean, I just pulled a number out of my hat. I didn't even know. And they were like, cool, let's do it. And they paid it that day. And I was like, this is unreal. Like, this guy just paid me $1,000, to run some ads. It's going to take me a few minutes a week, each week. Really, it's going to be pretty simple. And I later found out, like most people charge like $1,500 for that. And I just kept growing it, eventually I shut down the fitness business, and then I quit, my job as an attorney at an oil company. And then I found myself running, a small digital marketing agency while staying home with my kids. And over time I've grown that, built up my team, and turned it into a really nice business, more than I ever could have dreamed of when I started.
That's awesome. That's so cool to hear about, like, that you guys were both kind of doing your own thing, but also friends from, back then too. Yeah. So what was the point that you realized that this was going to be like a valuable side hustle business, like something that was actually going to make you money?
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of had a feeling it was going to be good really quickly. I mean, when somebody hands you $1,000 for something that you can do in a few minutes per day, it's like, okay, cool. How do I get more of this? How do I do more of this? And so I started, kind of reaching out, to people asking, I helped that guy and I asked for a referral, and eventually things just kind of exploded for me. I actually had one guy helped posted in a Facebook group about the results we got, and I just had this like rush of people coming at me. And I had been doing it for a little while, but I mean, that one day, I think I signed like $5,000 worth of business, like in a single day. And I remember my wife coming home from work. She's like, why didn't you answer your phone all day? And I'm like, I've been on sales calls all day. You're not going to believe this. And it was just, I mean, it's just wild. I think, it was like almost overnight, I was earning more from this side hustle than, like my wife's starting salary out of college working for a huge corporation was. Like, and it was just, when I was in law school, we were living off of her salary, and it wasn't a great salary, And so it was just, we were both very quickly like, wow, this is a really cool thing. And like, we really need to focus, on it. Not when I ended up staying home with my kids, I really started putting a lot more effort into that business. And I had only kind of halfway taken it seriously up until that point. I was really, truly doing it in my spare time. But I realized pretty quickly, like, one, it was a lot more fun than legal work, and it was a lot less hours. And I was working in a company, so I worked 9 to 5, but I kept seeing my friends that were doing 80-hour work weeks and stuff. And I think there's a lot of people like Bobby, you can relate to this as a teacher. Like, you're working so many more hours than, what you think you're supposed to. Yeah. And so I just, as we were having this like young family, I was like, I want to be home more. I want to be around kids more. And I enjoy this more. I was more passionate about it. And so when it started to pay more than what I was earning from my real career, then it was a no-brainer, because it was like, I enjoy this more. I've got more time and I'm earning more. Like, what decision is there to make? It was an easy one. So I don't know that it was easy, but in hindsight, it seems easy. If I'm being honest with myself, I probably struggled with it a lot, but I think I struggled probably more with the guilt of like walking away from a career I'd put 100,000 plus in debt into, and all those hours, more so than like feeling guilty about not doing it. Like, I was happy to leave that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's crazy that you can turn this into like what could be a full-time income, like you had done for yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, let's just put some math behind that, right? Like, I think it's good to like, look at this. Let's say that you want to earn 6 figures a year, 100,000 a year, right? Well, if the average client is paying you 1,500, I mean, I am not of math with. So I'm going to bust out my calculator and do this, right? So 100,000 divided by 12, right? And then you divide that by 1,500. You need 5.5 clients to get over $100,000 a month, right? And I would say you could probably get to 10 clients before I would say it's full-time hours, like a 40-hour work week. So, I mean, it is very realistic that you could be working 20 hours a week and earning $100,000. Now, at first, that might not be the case. Like, you might charge less at the beginning. I think a lot of our students started around $1,000 per month. But like, if you're charging the industry rates, I mean, that's a part-time job earning an incredible, income. So now you got to be self-motivated. You got to be organized. You got to keep track of all of that. You need to learn how to sell, which are, things that we like help all of our students with. But when you just look at the math and go, okay, I only got to get 5 clients to get to that kind of salary. You can see how easy it is to get to that full-time income, even without putting those hours in.
Yeah, that's awesome. So another question that I have, if someone's wanting to get started with doing Facebook ads as a side hustle, what kinds of tasks do you do for this side hustle?
So yeah, I mean, really it comes down to your job is to bring leads in the door for small businesses. And what that means is you're bringing people to them so that they can sell their products or their services to them, right? So that's, as a Facebook ad manager, that's what we do. And so the whole premise of running Facebook ads is that you're creating an offer, right? You're working with a gym or a chiropractor or a dentist, and you're creating some kind of offer that they can present to people for free, get people to opt into it, and then get them to jump on a call or come in the store, right? You're trying to get them to the door so that the business owner can do what a business owner does and sell their services, right? So that's the idea. And then we teach local Facebook ad management. So we're working with local brick and mortar businesses, just like the ones I mentioned, chiropractor, dentist, all those. And
restaurants, retail, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And so you're running ads to the local area. And we've all seen these ads on our Facebook feed, right? We've seen things for dentists, we've seen things for real estate agents. And that's it. And we're running those ads, and it's a really simple process. It's not the most complicated digital marketing service that there is out there. It's really a pretty simple service that we've really found that people that don't have any experience can learn how to do this step by step and jump into this and make this a real thing for them that they can actually make money with.
Yeah, we always tell people that if you can write a newsfeed update on your personal profile, like, Mike went to the grocery store today and bought all of the things, check out my gas mask. Like, if you can do that, then you can create a Facebook ad, because really you're picking an image, you're writing some text. It's very short. You don't have to be a professional writer or anything. And your offers are going to be the kinds of things that you see on Groupon or you get in the mail, like, free appetizer with purchase of entree for a restaurant. Like that's a great offer, or buy one, get one free, So it's things of those nature. For a gym, it might be a 7-day all unlimited gym pass, or it might be to sign up for a 28-day, fat shredding, program challenge, whatever. You've seen all these things. And so then your job is just writing the text and creating the image. And like I said, it's very simple. You can create it in a couple of minutes. It takes you a little longer when you're first learning, but you're literally just saying, okay, I work with a lot of gyms. So we might say, okay, the gym's located here. So people travel a 7-mile radius around the gym. And so you kind of like put the address in, set it 7 miles, and then you write the post, and then you hit publish, and it goes. Now, on the back end of that, there's things like monitoring the ad performance to figure out how much was spent, how many people clicked, how many people claimed the offer, right? And those are going to be capturing email, contact info, basically, and reporting back to, once a week, reporting back to the business owner and saying, okay, you spent this much money and you had this many people come in the door. How many sales did you get? So you can show profitability. But from the day-to-day tasks, it's like you might set up an ad and then it might run a week. It might run a month. I've had ads run 6 months, and you're just monitoring it, letting the business owner know how performance is. If performance drops, you're looking at the numbers and going, this is what needs changed, and creating a new one, right? So maybe you spend half an hour creating the thing, and then you spend 10 minutes a day just looking at it, right? And just to make sure it's on track. And like, that's really all it is. A lot of the work is upfront, and you creating the initial ad, talking to the business owner about what offers they want, And then once you have a winning ad, it's kind of a set it and forget it thing. At least when you're talking local lead gen, which is what we teach, because it's easy. It's easy to get an ROI. It's simple to run. Some of the online business stuff that I do, is very complicated and it's much more hands-on. But not all of it actually pays any more than the local stuff. So we always preach, like, do the easy stuff that pays well and is a low time investment.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the big things that when we realized, not necessarily that we realized it was a good side hustle, but what our students and everybody that has taken our course and that have gone through our program, they realize that it is a good side hustle because this is, like he said, set it and forget it as far as the actual ads. Once you create it, you do the creatives, you do the copy or the words on the ad. It really, the ads just run in the background. And so your job is really just to check in with the business owner, check in with the ads, make sure nothing's going wrong. But you really can work with a client for just a couple of hours per week. It's not like a full-time gig per client. And that's when I was first starting out in this, that's what made this such an attractive service for me to provide, because I was working on Millennial Money Man full-time. Like, that was my baby, but I could also have clients kind of on the side and run it as a side hustle. And it was really effective for me to be able to do that. And it just worked really well. So it's definitely something where if you have no experience, you can jump into it and it doesn't take all of your time. I mean, it is a great side hustle service.
To put this in perspective, when I had my fitness business, I spent a lot more time writing workouts, nutrition programs, talking to my clients, holding them accountable, keeping them motivated. There was way more involvement, in time to do that. And it didn't pay as well. Right? Like, I built it up and I made it a good business, but like, when you talk about the time leverage and how much interaction you have to have with the client versus the pay, it was much lower, and it's a lot easier to sell too. Like, you would think like you've got one body, but I mean, we all know, like, I'm not in the greatest shape, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to eat that piece of cake. Thanks to quarantine, we've had 5 birthdays for my 5-year-old because we have to do it with each individual family member, and I keep eating the cake, right? And so you would think somebody like me would be like, okay, I got to get in shape. I'm going to pay this dude. He's going to get me the result. But that's a much harder sell than like, hey, you pay me and I'm going to make you money, and you're going to spend, $1,500 on me and $500 on ads, and you're going to make 10 grand in profit. That's an easy sale. And then if you deliver that, they're going to stick around. You don't ever have to worry about them leaving, or that's why it's another reason it's easy to like build that side hustle into a full-time thing, because you just get a client, deliver results, and then you go get another one, and you just keep stacking them and stacking them and stacking them. And it adds up over time. And if you're good at what you do, eventually they start telling all their friends about it. And then people are coming to you with money to hire you instead of you having to go and like fish for clients so much.
So when I think about starting like a Facebook ads business, it's crazy for me to think that someone would be willing to pay like $1,000 plus a month for me to run ads for them on Facebook. Like,
Right.
How is that valuable for the business? Kind of what you were going off of, but is there like a certain ROI that they're expecting, or what does that look like?
Well, we try to frame this for people, because I remember when I got that first jeweler client, and I didn't go into this part of the story, but basically I asked them, they asked me, what I was going to charge them. And I blurted out $3,000. That was my first like ever thing. And they just jumped on it. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I was like, wait, can you say crap? Sorry. I was like, wow. Like that was almost my teaching salary. And I couldn't believe that somebody would pay that much for digital marketing services. But then once you kind of think about it from the business owner perspective, what we tell people to charge baseline is $1,000 per month. And really the going rate is $1,500 per month. If you look at that in the grand scheme of the expenses of a brick and mortar business, they have rent. Their rent could be $5,000, $10,000 per month. They've got payroll. They've got, all sort of, utilities
Supplies,
that they pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you look at, for like personal bank account numbers, $1,000 a month, somebody paying that's a lot. But when you look at a business and the expenses that they have, they look at $1,000 or $1,500 a month much differently than we would from our personal bank account. So that's the first kind of thing that we tell people, is really just to kind of frame it in think of it from the business owner perspective, because it does change quite a bit. And then, something Mike always talks about, if you could basically have a machine where you put money in and it puts out $5 more than you put in, right? You're going to keep putting money into that all day long. And that's why Facebook ads are so effective, because you're targeting people, you're bringing them in, and you're able to track your results, right? And track what you're doing for the business owner, and they can see their ROI. And so they can see, hey, I spent this much on ads and I brought in this much in business. This many people came in the door and I sold this many services or products or whatever. They're going to be able to look at that and go, wow, there's great ROI on this. And so it's different than some other digital marketing services, which are a little bit more vague. And it's harder to track the ROI. This is, you can go into Facebook Ad Manager and you get the results. You can see how many leads you brought in the door. And so it's a lot easier for business owners to make decisions about ROI and, keep paying you, because they're making more money than they're paying you.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a client this morning and we were talking about KPIs and some numbers and things. And, he was telling me, he's like, I know that for every third person that I get on the phone, we're going to close a deal. And I know that I'm going to get, 20 or 25% of these leads that I bring in, we're going to get on the phone. And so then it's just math. And he's like, so I know if I want to earn this much per, it's like, okay, we can pay this much for a lead. And then every 4 or 5 leads is going to get on the phone. So it's like, okay, we need 20 leads to get one sale. Right. And so we know, okay, then we can spend, however much, whatever that number is, to acquire it. And his was like a very, very high ticket thing. So he might spend $5 a lead. He's $400 investment, but he's making $3,000. Right. And so you're doing math like that. And a lot of times, like, you don't even have to necessarily figure that out. You're talking to the owner and they're like, hey, here's my budget I'm willing to spend. Just give me as much as you can. Like, early on, we don't do that math. We don't know it. We just know, okay, they can spend $25 a day and we're going to spend it. We're going to get them the best results we can. And you start to kind of figure out what's good and what's not. And if I go to them and I say, hey, here's what we're doing. We're spending 25 a day. We're getting this many people in the door. Like, this is really good cost. Or, hey, it's not there. I want to bring it down another $1 or $2. So we're going to change this. And you just communicate it with them. And then they'll start doing it. And you'll find, like, they'll be like super profitable and super happy, or they'll say, hey, we're not quite getting it yet. And then you just have a conversation. You look at it and go, okay, do we need to bring the cost down? Or is this something like, oh no, none of these people are picking up the phone when I call them, right? Or none of these people are coming in the door. Well, then you can talk to them about what they're doing, and that's one of those like more like upper level things that we teach in our program, is like the follow-up and that kind of stuff, because you won't know that. I mean, you can go and learn the Facebook ad stuff. We've got YouTube videos and stuff on it. But learning some of those things where you can advise the client, okay, well, you're setting an appointment with somebody 3-4 days after they sign up. You really need to get that in a 48-hour window, because after 48 hours, we've got this Harvard business review that shows that like leads drop off by 70% after this amount of time. So you're really setting your money on fire. You're wasting all of those leads, And so this is, I feel like maybe I'm getting a little off topic here, but like you start to learn some of those things that you can help the business owner, and you can end up providing more value than just heads through the door. Right. And so then they start to lean on you and trust you as kind of like an advisor, because you're able to bring this perspective. And you might not, like some of our students, they don't know these things right away. But once you've worked with 4, 5, 10, a dozen businesses, you figure all this stuff out, and you generally know more about this stuff. You might even know more about marketing. Like, say you only worked with gyms, you might know more about marketing a gym than the gym owner, right? And so you become very, very valuable. And that price tag, then it becomes more than just ROI. It's confidence. It's you taking things off their plate and freeing up time for them to do what they love, instead of doing the marketing that stresses them out or takes up time, takes them away from their gym floor, or from working with meeting customers at their restaurant, or whatever it may be. So there's kind of two. There's the monetary value, and then there's that, I don't know what the word is, but like that kind of
like time.
There's the time, and there's the stuff that you can't measure, but that stuff is usually more valuable.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things to think about too, most local business owners know that they should be advertising on Facebook, right? Like they know that they need to do it, but they don't know how to jump in, or they have tried it before. And maybe they, a lot of people have seen the boost this post option in Facebook, and they do it and they go, well, that didn't do anything. I just feel like I wasted $20 or whatever. And that's where a lot of business owners kind of stop and they get frustrated with it. But the reality is Facebook has a very, very powerful ad platform, and it is the best, hands down, is the best lead generation system for local businesses. Hands down, it's better than Google Ads. It's better than anything else out there. And a lot of business owners know that. They just don't know how to do it. And so when you are able to come in and provide that service and do what Mike said, where you're taking something off their plate, they don't want to do the marketing a lot of times for their business. They want to do whatever it is in their business that they're great at. They don't want to do the part that they don't know about. So they would rather offload that service to somebody else and have consistent leads coming in the door. And Facebook is just the best way to do it. It's just the most effective. It's the cheapest way to do it to get the highest value back. So that's kind of the other part what Mike was saying. It's like there's the ROI, and then there's also kind of like the time ROI for the business owner and
quality of
them
life
not having
stuff.
Yeah, like the stress part of it. They don't have to worry about the marketing because you're doing it for them.
That's awesome. So if someone's wanting to get started with doing Facebook ads as a side hustle, what do you think would be a realistic amount of money that they would be making each month, like starting out, and what is the potential that could grow to?
This really depends on the person. It depends on how much you're willing to put in it, what your goals are. The reality is there's some people that are making ridiculous amounts of income, doing this, right? And so, it could be one of those things. We always kind of promote our course as like, come in, get a client or two, earn an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and then you can use that, to just give yourself a pay raise, to pay off your mortgage, to pay off your student loans, like invest in your retirement, whatever, and really kind of accelerate whatever your financial goals are. Even if your financial goal is to like just go buy a dope car, like you can do, whatever. But a lot of people come in and they're like, man, I hate my job. I want to get out of this. We have a lot of teachers and that come in and they have a great skill set for this, and they're like, I love teaching, I love the kids, but I don't like the hours, I don't like the politics, I don't like the low pay, I want out of this. You see the same thing with attorneys and people in the finance world, and just jobs that are very demanding from a time perspective, and they want more family time. We see a lot of those people kind of jump into this. And so depending on what they want to do, like one of the things we do is our 5K club, people that get into that 5K recurring revenue. We even got people that are into the 10K and, they're doing that 6-figure a year revenue. We've got one guy, it's so funny. He hired me years ago to help with his gym, and he took our course, and I caught up with him a while back, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm pulling down like $28,000 per month managing ads for gyms in Australia. And he's like, I just like hired somebody to run my gym floor for me. And so I'm still making cash off that, and I'm putting no time in it, and I'm just doing this. And that's awesome. So, you can see the potential is really limitless. And I think it's important to mention a client like that, because it's not just like Bobby and I doing this. Like, I think a lot of people might go, well, yeah, Mike, you got an agency, you got a team, you're doing this and that, but like, you're different than me. Like, no, here's a guy with no Facebook experience. He hired me to do it because he didn't want to do it. And then I don't even remember, we, stopped working together for whatever reason. Then he buys the course and boom, he's rolling, so it really just comes down to, what do you want to do? And I will say too, like your expectation of how quickly you can earn, it depends on you, right? One of the big things that we talk about in the course is like, go through the materials, learn how to do it, but then there's no way to practice. There's not like, a simulator. Like, you got to go get real world experience. And so when you finish, we're always just like client acquisition, client acquisition, client acquisition. And we teach over a dozen strategies on how to acquire clients for free, no monetary investment. We've got some incredible sales training. And so it's like, go get your first client, right? Even if you have to charge less, go get your first client, get some experience, because you learn as you go. And when you've got a community like ours and coaches like we have to answer your questions, you can't fail. Because if you run into an issue with your client, we're going to help you overcome that issue, right? And so some people, it's like, 2 weeks in, they got a client. Some people, it might take them 2-3 months, but a lot of times those people, they're worried, they're trying to like build a website or they get business cards, or they're afraid to start. They're like, I know I need to go do client acquisition, but I'm scared, and they got to get past those mental blocks. And so I say all of this to say that it depends, right? Like, who are you on the other side of this video? Like, what are you like? What's your personality? How much in time are you going to put into it? Are you going to hustle? Are you going to be fearless? Are you going to put yourself out there? Or are you going to be scared of people saying no to you? Because that will happen, right? And we're big proponents of like fail forward fast, because the more no's you get, it's just one step closer to somebody telling you yes and handing you $3,000 a month like Bobby did.
Yeah. And I think the other thing to point out too, or just to address, a lot of people, when we say local lead generation or local brick and mortar businesses, we don't mean that you have to just stay in your 10-mile radius around your house in your local area, because we do have a lot of students that come in and they live in a very rural area, and they're like, I don't have a lot of businesses, or I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get a lot of clients. The great thing about this and what makes it so accessible as a side hustle is that you don't have to work with people in your area. You can work with people throughout your state, throughout the entire country, in other countries, right? Like, I've always worked with people that are in Texas, not necessarily right by me in Texas, but in Texas. But Mike is totally different. He works with how many different continents?
I've worked with people on 5 continents. I've got active clients on 4 continents, and I had one client that I worked with for a week in Texas, and then I refunded his money and cut him loose because he was the biggest pain in the rear. So it's funny, and I love Texas, but I've never worked with anybody local to me. I've always been like, I've got a huge client roster in Europe, right? Like, that's where my main client base was. And that's just because I started finding people to work with there, and then they referred me other people. So yeah, if you're worried about the local thing, it's not, like I said, it's not local to you. It's just the type of business, the restaurant, the retail store, the nail salon, the hair salon, the gyms, the yoga studios, like those kind of things.
Yeah. And the majority of our client acquisition strategies, Mike mentioned, we have a dozen of them. We're always adding, but we have a lot in there right now. And we have something that fits everybody's personality. Some people are introverted, some people are extroverted. But the big thing is most of them are online, right? Like we're saying, you can work with anybody all over the world. And that's because we teach you how to go get clients, and you can do it through email. There's a lot of, through Facebook groups. There's just a lot of different ways that you can go through that process. And so the internet has really made this a very accessible side hustle for people, to where they don't have to just stay in their local area and go to coffee shops and meet with people to get a client. It's a lot different than that now.
And I think we teach like 6 or 7 of them like on our YouTube channel. So, I mean, you guys we've got our Facebook side hustle series, and it's like free videos, and we talk about sales and client acquisition and what you actually do, the deliverable. And one of those, we talk about landing clients and give, the basics of some of our favorite methods for landing freelance clients.
Yeah, I'll definitely leave a playlist to your guys' videos down below so people can check those out for great information too. So it sounds like if someone's wanting to get started, a great place to start would obviously be with your course. Could you break down some of the things that, some highlights that people can expect to learn from your course?
Yeah. So really the course is, when we first launched the course, we actually designed it for the millennial money man audience, for my personal finance blog. And it was for people that were just looking for a side hustle. They were looking for extra income. And it was for people that had zero experience doing this they no Facebook ad experience at all. So, so you can jump into the course. The way we have it structured is that it's video lessons, and we call it over the shoulder style videos, where you can see our screen. And there's like a little bubble in the bottom with our head, so you can see us talking to you. But we show you our screen. We show you exactly what to click. We teach you what words to write. We teach you how to select the images. And we go through this step by step. And it's broken up into small videos that are short videos that you can kind of digest quickly. You can come and go from the course material as you please. You get a login. And you have 365 access for 24/7 for life, right? There's no time limit on the course. Most people go through it, and I'd say about 2 weeks. But you can we've had people burn through it in a week. We've had people take a month to get through it, and then they come back and take it again. It really just depends on your personality.
Had people binge it overnight.
Yeah. We get people that binge it. And they'll get a client within the first 48 hours, and they'll email us about excited. It's kind of crazy. Like some people do that, some people take longer. So it's really flexible, but we do walk you through every single piece of the process as far as actually creating the ads and doing the targeting. And then we also teach you the client acquisition part, like we talked about. And we just, it's a very holistic course. We've added to this. This has been around since 2018, January of 2018. So we've added to the course. We update it with new content as needed. To be honest with you, there haven't been a ton of changes on Facebook, but we do update it. And we also have a course community where we update our students there as well. And so it's very comprehensive. You're going to learn everything you need to know. You do not have to have experience doing this. You don't. All you need is really a computer, and you just have to be able to get on the internet, and you're going to have everything you need to do this. And there aren't a bunch of like paid tools that you have to get in addition to the course. It's pretty much everything.
We teach you how to do the whole thing with free tools. So there's like, you get the course and there's like zero investment required. I mean, and the business is a low overhead business. My overhead at my agency is under 10%. I mean, it is really like a very high profit business, but inside of the course too, it's very system oriented. So when you are learning how to do something, it is very much like, this is step 1, step 2, step 3. It's very formulaic. Even when we talk about when you're looking at somebody's ads and they're not performing and you need to figure out, what do I need to change to make them get better results? We go, okay, you look at this first. And if that's the problem, this is the solution. And if that's not the problem, then you look at this next. And if that's the problem, this is the solution. And then thing 3 and then 4. And so you get this like checklist of like what to do. And then we really focus on, like, once we teach you the fundamentals, we really focus on the business side of things. I think that's a real big difference between a lot of Facebook courses. I think the 2 things that stand out for I guess it's really 3 things I think stand out with our course is, 1, it's very affordable, right? So it's a $497 price tag compared to similar courses usually start at $2,000 and go up to $12K. Not even kidding. Very expensive. So it's a more affordable course, and I would put it up against all of them because I've taken just about all of them. So there's that. But then I think more importantly, we really focus on the business side of things. So we're focusing on that client acquisition, helping you land that first client. We're helping you with sales if you've never done sales before. Simple ways. You get a script, simple sales trainings, things to make it, even if you're an introvert, make you comfortable, be able to do it in a way, where you don't feel slimy and scammy, like you can feel really, you can sleep at night because of it. We're teaching you things like client management, reporting, analytics, like how you just manage the business, and all of those things to help you be more productive. We even have productivity things. We've had incredible mindset coaches that have worked with gold medal Olympians. We've had, people come in and talk about time management, productivity, how to juggle, your side hustle with your real job, and, all of this kind of stuff, like supporting materials. And then finally, just, I think the 3rd thing is just like support, because Bobby and I are in there. We're doing coaching calls where you can come and work with us personally each month. We've got 3 coaches that are inside of there that are all agency owners and have their own teams and do this for a living, earning, incredible amounts, doing this. They've been there, they've done that. They're in a variety of industries, and they're there to answer questions around the clock. And now this was like an unintended consequence, but we have these members that have been with us for a year, 2 years, or longer, that are earning, 6 figures, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is on their own. And they don't even need us anymore, but they're in there supporting the new members, answering their questions. So you have this like army of support at your back to kind of help you. So that way you can have the confidence to go out and get paid and do something, and have this safety net where you don't feel like there's you don't have a risk of failure, right? Because even if you mess up, you've got people that can tell you exactly what to do, which Bobby and I didn't have. Like when we screwed up, we screwed up. We might lose a client. They might get mad. You might lose that income, but our clients don't really, or our students don't really have that, because they have people that have been there, done that, and can, they can like, oh, I've been stressing about this for 3 hours, and they post a screenshot, and in seconds we've got 8 people that are like, oh, do this. And then it's fixed and they're good to go and their client's happy. And, or we're even saying, tell your client this, this, and this. And their client's like, wow, you are brilliant. I love you, you know? So, I think that's like a big component of the course too, beyond just the material, because we want people to implement. We want people to be successful. The one thing we don't want is somebody to buy the course and then not watch the videos or not do anything with it. Cause like, what's the point? Like go out, make some cash, do something great for your family. I mean, that's the whole goal.
So how can someone get signed up? Is the course always open, or is there like a window of time that you guys have the course open?
So we open it a few times a year, about once a quarter, but we have a waiting list. And so you guys, there's a link, there's probably going to be a link to this video where you guys can join the waiting list. And what we do is everybody, when they come on the waiting list, we will occasionally open it up to the people that are in the waiting list. And we do this, we actually like only open it up to the new people. So you're going to get one opportunity, right? So when you see that, hey, the waiting list is open, come join us. Like that is your one opportunity until the next launch. And we do like January, April, July, and September, October, something like that. So a few times a year. So you're really going to have 5 opportunities in a year to join. And we just do that because we want to be present with our students. We want to be able to help them, to dedicate time to them. And it's just when we get a nice new flood, we call them hustle babies, come in, and when the hustle babies come in, everybody in the course knows they're coming, and they're excited to help them, and there's a lot of momentum, and it allows us to kind of answer all of the common questions like all at once, instead of a constant like seeing the same basic question every single day. So yeah, you just join the waiting list, you'll learn about it. If you want to get a jump start, you can check out our Facebook Side Hustle series, a playlist on YouTube, and start to learn about it. And we'll notify you. Believe we're big email marketers. We're going to let you know when it's open, and we're going to email you. You if you miss it, you don't check your email because we'll let you know.
Mike and Bobby, do you guys have anything else to share with us for today?
The only thing I would say, and this might be, people might be watching this a year from now, but like right now when we're in quarantine, like working at a card table in my house, everybody's kind of worried because all these local businesses are shut down. And so I want to tell y'all exactly what we're seeing and what we're expecting. So this is not, today isn't the best time to land a client when gyms and restaurants and all these things are closed down, but it is a good time to maybe watch a little less Netflix and learn a new skill and be ready, because we're already seeing right now at the very end, and it's April 30th as we're recording this, we're already seeing businesses gear up and get ready to advertise. And we fully expect a lot of these businesses, when they reopen, to be just desperate to get people back in the doors and recover as much income as they can. And so, we've already seen restaurants are starting to figure out the curbside and all that. Restaurant industry is still hiring with gyms and things like that. I've got gym owners that are doing stuff online, but I've got other ones that are ready because they're expecting a January like New Year's type rush to come in as soon as the doors open again. So these business owners that are hurting right now, they're going to be turning to advertisers for help to get people through the door as quickly as possible. And that's not just me saying that. We're already seeing it. I've had inquiries like crazy the last 2 weeks that have just started coming out of nowhere finally, because it's like the world is starting to de-thaw and everybody's starting to get back to business as usual. So it is happening. Our students are starting to land clients again. I spoke with one of them yesterday and she said she's just landed like a couple new clients. So we know like it's all these businesses are waking up. So maybe you're watching this, in the way YouTube works a couple of months from now and everything's back to normal, then obviously it's going to be good. But if you are a Dollar Sprout subscriber and you're here and watching it as soon as it publishes, you're probably savvy about what's going on in the world and the economy and everything and like wondering. And, the good news is like we're seeing signs, and I think it's going to be a very great time to be in this business here in a couple of months. I think the other thing too is that, it can help provide security. Like we've got a student, Tony, who's a DJ, and when all this stuff came in, all those weddings got canceled. And so he messaged us and he was like, hey, the clients I had doing Facebook ad management was like a cherry on top. But now it's become like this sole source of income for our family. And we're just like so grateful. And it's really like saved us during this time. And so I think that's important too. Like that's one of the things like we love this as a side hustle because it can provide a little bit of security for your family if you're worried about this too. So sorry if that was a little wordy, but I think with everything going on, if we don't talk about it, somebody's going to be thinking it and worrying about it, I think.
Well, and I think it's important too, because one of the things for us, we teach our students to actually care about the business owners that they're helping, right? And we want to help people grow their businesses. That's really our passion, is helping people grow their businesses. So it's been really cool. I know people that are watching this they can't see the inside of our course group, but it's been really cool to see how our students over the last month or two have really jumped in and tried to help as many businesses as they can. And so it's been a good thing to see a lot of our students go in and really try to make a difference for these small business owners that have been struggling. But Mike's absolutely right. There's a lot of demand. There's a lot of business owners that have been forced to close, and they are ready to get back open and ready to get people in the door and start making money again. And they need to. And so they're going to be really relying on our students to help them in this time. So we're really proud of that. And we're excited to see kind of where this goes. And as everything gets opened up, we're excited to see how our students are helping people.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time and for hanging out with me and sharing all about Facebook side hustles. And I'm excited to see what this will lead to and how many people are going to take this opportunity to get started. So it's really awesome what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you for having us. It's been fun.
Oh, man. I did it again.
We did it again. We need to start doing the jinx thing like we're in first grade.
Awesome. So thanks so much for hanging out and joining Mike, Bobby, and I in this interview. If you want to check out their course, we will have a link to that in the description box down below so you can get signed up on the wait list or signed up for the course. And also don't forget to check out their YouTube channel as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the Dollar Sprout YouTube channel for more videos. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye.